I've always wondered what was the differentiating factor between the guys who go on to make millions in the financial markets and the guys who risk their whole savings and then scam, or maybe they scam them, maybe they scammed themselves. We don't really know. Is it their background? Is it their bank balance? Is it their stoic mindset? Is it the mentor that they have teaching them this thing? Welcome to Mind the Risk podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we debunk the truth, myths, the pros and cons about the financial market. I'm MaxCapital, and you do not know me yet. So let me take you to the beginning to introduce you to myself, right? I am a seasoned trader. Of course, I've been trading these markets for over 112 months. I'm a fund manager and now risk manager and psychology coach for funded traders and prop firm traders as well. My journey really started back when I was in uni. I was pursuing a degree in electrical and electronics at the time. That was I started when 2014. So 2015, when I pressed my first trade, was actually my second year in school. And as you can tell, my passion for trading took over from there. And the worst thing happened to me while I was still in school, and when I took my first trade, which was making money on your first trade. But before that, let me talk about basically how did I start. So a year before, there was a guy who was going around hosting seminars, and at times I would spend the last money that I have to travel to Johannesburg, Sandton, imagine from Eswatini or Swaziland, formerly known as Swaziland. Travel there, and maybe I would have a 250 for a room for a night. Sometimes I wouldn't eat. I just wanted to get the knowledge and how this thing is done. I was hungry for it because trading for me presented an opportunity more than just making money. It was a way of getting out of something. It was a way of putting my family in a better place, of which at the time they also didn't really entertain the idea of me doing this, especially since I was pursuing such a tough course. So one night I was hungry, really hungry in my dorm room. It was just the beginning of the semester, and I had come to uni with enough money for about a week. And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to survive the rest of the semester? And then I went on Google, of course. I went to the library because I didn't have a laptop. Went to the library. Mind you, I wasn't studying for anything because the semester had just started, right? And there I was typing how to make money while in college. A lot of things popped up, tutoring, selling books, selling past exam papers, tests, printing T-shirts, buying your own printer to help students with printing and all of that. And most of those things required me to interact with people, which was at the time I wasn't really good at, even though I had joined your Mr. Freshers and Mr. Uniswa, also Mr. Boleswa. But I did those things really to get out of my comfort zone because I really struggled with people. So down the list on how to make money while in college, I came across trading stocks, and I looked at it, and I was, when I read through it, I was like, is this even possible while I'm pursuing an engineering degree? And I found out it wasn't really that hard. My thing was, how do I hide it, and how do I make sure that it doesn't really tamper with my school performance, because engineering is very important for me. I come from a family of engineers. My father is a Mercedes-Benz specialist. Shout out to the old man. When I say the worst thing happened to me when I took my first trade, let me take you to how that trade happened. So I started trading stocks, right, via options. And there was a company that I was looking at, Volkswagen. And Volkswagen was a company I picked because my first love for cars. I'm sorry to the old man. I know he raised me on a Mercedes, but my first love was the MK1, VW MK1. Still love that car. Spoiler alert, there's a project coming soon. Probably won't run on the original engine, not original spec, because I need something more powerful. I like to drive a lot and just enjoy the country scenery. So I'm looking at VW, and I think it was a matter of being at the right place at the right time, because it was the spring of 2015 September, and while I was looking at it, it was at the time it was trading around $170 per share. And it started dropping a bit in a consolidating manner. And I was keeping tabs on this magazine, Fortune magazine at the time. I read that. I read a lot of magazines, and I would buy that. Sometimes I would forfeit buying food for me to get knowledge. Hence, on my buy, you'll find that information changes situations, because really it was information that I acquired that changed my situation. To be honest with you, if you can follow my story, I wasn't even supposed to be an engineering student. I wasn't even supposed to be alive, if I can be honest with you. But Alhamdulillah, we survived, and here we are. We're on the top of the world, right? And so following that Fortune magazine, I saw a story that the EPA had announced that it's fining Volkswagen against cheating on emissions test. And then I started seeing this thing tank. I was already in the trade, by the way. It tanked. I took the trade, I think, on Thursday. And on Monday, when I opened the charts right after my class on programming class, C++, I was doing that, one of my favorite courses to do within my engineering degree. I went to the library again. I didn't have a laptop. And then I just found that this thing had tanked from $160 all the way to $130 per share. And I was sitting on some good money, I think around $350, $380 US dollars. And then I decided to hold, because at that time you do not know, when it's your first trade, you do not know when to close. But I did look at the $100 mark. I was like, when it gets there, I'm probably going to exit the trade. And it had dropped by 15 points on Monday. And then on the following day, on the same magazine, we saw that a New York City law firm had filed a first-class lawsuit against the owners and leases of the defeat device. The defeat device was a device that I would say it lied to the EPA when Volkswagen vehicles was being tested for if they are within the limit of emissions, so to speak. So yeah, price was now ranging around 130. I was holding the whole time. I'm asking myself, should I close? Remember, I don't have a laptop. I don't even have enough money to survive the whole semester. I continued to hold for a couple of days, and boom, the next thing, VW confirms that 11 million diesel cars that were sold had this defeat device, and the market continued tanking now from 130 all the way to around 109. And at 109, I'm still holding, now skeptical. I'm very close to my target, which is $100 per share. I held a bit, and on a Wednesday, CEO, I think it was Martin Ventacom at the time. Yeah, it was Martin. He submitted his resignation. The market continued tanking. I was like, you know what? It's time to collect my chips, because I do not know if this thing is going to come back against me. I had an experience like that earlier on in the year, same year, 2015, I think around the 6th of March. I'm sure some of you guys, if you've been trading for long enough, you remember when the Swiss officials decided to unpeg the Swiss franc from the euro, and we saw the US dollar Swiss franc just tank all the way down from, I believe the price was 100,750. Why do I remember all this? Because if you're a high performer like me, you know the trades that basically, you know the trades that gave you the championship. You also know the trades that costed you the championship. So I always remember this one. So when the VW CEO I sent his resignation. I then decided to cash in my chips, and total profit there was 486. Actually, it was above that. I had taken, it was around $510, and the rest was the fees for holding trades overnight. Remember, I had held over 2 weekends, so to speak. So when I say that was the worst thing that has happened to me, by the way, with that money, I was able to buy my first laptop. I remember it was a Sony VIA-O. It was it was white. A lot of O's laughed at me for using a PC like that, and it would complain about AMD graphics like every day. Ended up crashing. I had to go back trading in the library again. And when I say that was the worst thing that could happen to any trader, or that happened to me at the time, is because making your win on your first trade, it's going to put you in a euphoric state where you cannot now perceive risk. I mean, we're in the Mind the Risk podcast here. You cannot perceive risk, so you just jump into the market. You think you figured things out. And for me, I thought that I had a holy grail strategy, which was shorting stocks. So I was in these articles every night, every break I could get from my classes, and I'm still doing well at school, by the way. Every break I could get, I'll take that break and read. And I wasn't dating at the time. That wasn't in my mind at all. Even though I had just been part of the top 3 and Mr. Uniswa, which was a local university there, and obviously. You do get a lot of attention from women, but I kept rejecting them, and some of them think I was gay at the time. I wasn't, but I had a goal driven by my background, where I come from. I really wanted to change the situations, which is something that I'm still working on up until this day. And some people be like, it's not your responsibility. Come on, definitely is. I mean, if your parent was able to take care of you when you couldn't, why can't you take care of him or her when she can't? So as you can imagine, the journey from there, I faced a lot of losses, a lot of setbacks, humiliation as well. And I've lost houses. I've lost my first car in 2 weeks of buying it. I've lost my watch collection. I've lost my wine collection. I collect wine. I'm a wine connoisseur. It hurt a lot, but I had to, when you had spent too much time working on a thing, sometimes it's just not that easy to give up on it. Also, I had also received all these negative reviews or people telling me this, I knew you couldn't do it, blah, 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 blah. So I had to prove myself right, not prove those people wrong, prove myself right in the process. Yeah, they were proven wrong. So through dedication and learning from the best in the industry, man, alhamdulillah, I've found myself working with fintech companies as I'm speaking to you, brokers, and I eventually became a risk manager and a performance coach for funded traders and fund managers around the world, which is some of the guests that I'm going to bring to this podcast so that you guys can get to understand the thought process of a real fund manager and how did they get there. Maybe you can make this a career like I have, and it is very rewarding, so to speak. Now, mind the risk. I had a lady that asked me, how do you think of that? Well, I'm a creative person for sure, but really the inspiration, I'd say it comes from first my woman, who's been very instrumental in getting me out there, because I'm the kind of person who likes being behind the curtains and still make big moves, so to speak. I don't like a lot of attention, a lot of drama around me. So she would listen to calls when I was talking to several, I'd say, mentees, people I was helping for free. And people would report, some of them cry, I just made $1,600. I've just made my first withdrawal in 3 years and I've only been with you for 3 months, stuff like that. It made me tear up at some point because there was a point where I wasn't making money. And some point as a mentor, one of the painful things is that you have clients that have more money than you. I mean, the same position you walked away with $400 from, someone made 40,000 from. That's part of the game. Yeah. So yeah, she really pushed me to get out there, and I'm out here now. I'm helping people, alhamdulillah, for free once again, ladies and gentlemen. And Mind the Risk podcast is just aimed at sharing insights to the rest of the world into what really happens in the mindset of a trader, even the experiences, because what we see every day nowadays is people painting the picture that this thing is really easy, which is not. It's going to require everything you have and more. So Mind the Risk really comes from what my mentor used to say to me. Remember when I spoke of the trade on US dollar Swiss franc? So I didn't catch the first move down, the sharp move down. I tried to go in between, and I kept losing until I blew an account, and I had to go to demo because I saw something where it left. There was a nice area of supply right at the top. So I waited for the market to go back to 1.00750 again. And then I shared that with my mentor. A few weeks later, after holding that trade together, he said to me in a voice note, my mentor is a fund manager, by the way, who's situated in Prague, Czech Republic, one of my favorite cities in the world. I haven't been there, but he will just show me on a live video, and I really love it. And pretty soon, we're going to visit Prague for sure. So after the trade, he made some money, showed me that I think it was a little bit above 36,000, and at the time he had a 700,000 US dollar account that he was trading. And I was like to him, you could have made more. And he was like, yeah. And then he sent me days later, he sent me a voice note where he said, you see, Maxwell, I've been sharing this trade with some people in my community, fund managers as well. And your ability to identify opportunities in the market is impeccable. But if you want to have a career as long as mine, you have to mind the risk. And that stuck with me from there. And 9 years later, we're here. 9 years later, we're here. We have a podcast. Shout out to him. I'm hoping he's going to be proud of me. Someone who's been very, very important in my journey, even when I was going through my lowest lows. As much as he didn't give me money, I think most of you traders know this. When you're going through a rough patch as a trader, sometimes you want to message your mentor and say, bro, my skill is good. Can you fund $100 for me here and there? He never did that. He said, you'll never learn the lesson. Find a way to raise capital. And I did that by selling illicit cigarettes and salted peanuts, which was a perfect combo for people who smoke. Yeah. So yeah, that really stuck with me forever. And speaking of Mind the Risk podcast, ladies and gentlemen, what can you expect from this podcast? So whether you're a seasoned pro or just a beginner, Mind the Risk offers invaluable insights into risk management and the right mindset, which to me, they are the essentials of trading in these financial markets. You've heard me say in the beginning, I've always wondered what made the difference. Speaking of that, how did I come to this conclusion, or knowing what I know, what makes the difference between the 90% that lose money and the 10% that go on to make money in the markets is while working for brokers, I used to call the clients that are doing well and the clients that are not doing well, obviously as a relationships manager. Offer some advice to those that are not doing well. But the ones that are doing well, I really wanted to know what they're doing differently from their routines, their perception of the market, their approach to the market. How do they handle their mental whilst the trade is running, whilst it's going against them, whilst there's news event? And they shared with me some pretty good insights. Reminiscing about that, it reminds me of colleagues of mine at the time who used to say to me, Maxwell, you're just doing too much. You're not getting paid for this. Well, for sure I wasn't, but I was cooking because I always knew my career will lead to this place. Someone asked me the other day that, did you know you'd get here? For sure. You do not get to this level without knowing it. It's just that I wasn't confrontational about it. I wasn't going around telling people. I was just doing the work. And I didn't rely on what I achieved in the past. Every 24 hours is a new day. You have to earn that day. Speaking of earning, we're in the financial markets. Basically here, you eat what you kill, unlike people who kill clients to eat, which is the very wrong way to do it. So we're going to give you the essentials of trading from a perspective of professional traders in that sense. Also, we'd love to see those who are just starting up and get their experience, early experience in the market, because there might be someone at home like you who's going through the same thing. So here we're going to have 4 episodes. The first one is pro trader interviews. This is where we're going to sit down with these friends of mine, mates of mine from all over the world, fund managers, and basically ask them questions and hear what's their thought on particular things that happen around trading, their experience, the moments where they felt like giving up, when they took a break, when they lost everything, how did they raise capital to get to the point where they are. Basically, we dive into those strategies, and also to get to know the man or the woman behind the charts, because once you get to know that person, you'll understand the decisions that he or she had to make to get there. Second episode, which I'm going to be hosting with a wonderful lady whose podcast is going to be out soon, Nafisa Monchi. She is from South Africa, but now living her best life in London. So what is Traders Q&A panel about? So this is for you traders. This is where you can ask your burning questions via our social media platforms and maybe email as well. And then from there, we're going to take them to the podcast, and we're going to respond to them live so that you can improve your trading. Once again, it's completely free, ladies and gentlemen. We are at a point in our lives in trading where we feel like it's very important to help someone become successful and avoid the pitfalls that we had to go through than seeking more success for ourselves. So bring those questions in. We'd love to answer them and interact with you guys. Not a lot of people do this. I realized this after calling a couple of clients. They're like, the mentors that are in this industry don't call. Well, I'm not a mentor. I'm something else, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have the Forex debate. Speaking of the Forex industry, there's lots of controversies in this industry, the latest trends. We'll discuss those and let you guys know what is true and what is not. We have the experience. You have to trust that. And the fourth one, last but not least, we have the Traders Toolkit, which is packed with tips and tools to help you or enhance your performance. Platforms as well. Speaking of platforms, the sponsor of this video is an amazing offshore broker by the name of UTrader, created by traders for the traders. Now, this broker was serving institutions for a while. As such, at some moment, the minimum deposit was $20,000. But once guys like me came in, we started building the retail side of things. We're still working on the business development of that. However, it is open, it is up and running and licensed in the Libyan financial markets. Financial authority. And we are pursuing licenses in different jurisdictions as well. You might see licenses popping up in Africa and in the Latin American region very soon. So I have the best platform. So our ask was for them not to change the spreads, commissions, basically the trading platform or trading environment that suits fund managers. If you guys don't know, fund managers are always looking to put their money with a broker that has low fees, low commissions. Why? Because if you are a high frequency trader, taking a lot of trades in a day, basically, you are bound to pay a lot of fees. And if the minimum charge for that broker is high, you're going to suffer at the end of the quarter, probably at the end of the year. So they were kind enough to keep that the same. Also to say they're available on MT4 now. MT5 might happen or not, but what we're really working on is creating our own platform. As you guys have seen lately, that meta codes have been taking off a lot of brokers off their platform. So we want to make sure that your funds are always safe. We always want to make sure that you always have a platform to trade with. So check the link in the description about uTrader, amazing offshore broker. It is not yet regulated in South Africa. So do your own diligence and apply your own discretion, ladies and gentlemen, before one gets in trouble with the regulators. I'm not really recommending it to anyone, but go check it out and see if it suits your trading style. We also have some more developments coming, including helping you guys spend your crypto directly from your trading account. I'm not going to reveal too much about this technology, it's fintech technology, but it's going to be really amazing. And I'm hoping that before the end of September, we are going to release that particular technology so that you guys can enjoy it. Why crypto? Because with crypto, your deposits and withdrawals can be instant, and even when you go from Binance, going from uTrader to Binance, it's in a matter of minutes, and from Binance to your bank account, at times it's just a matter of 30 minutes. I know how much you guys love quick withdrawals because you want to spend the money month end, right? Okay. As far as a trader's development is concerned, you've heard me time and time again speak about I want people to develop this industry, or rather, I want to develop this industry to take your trading to the next level, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss this free but exclusive offers, because we have a selection criteria. We want people who are going to appreciate this. We want people who are going to have a growth mindset. You also need to be able to unlearn a lot of things, because let's be honest, a lot of us have been misled for a long time. So we try to change that. It's not just me. I'm gonna be joined by these friends of mine from all over the world to try to make you the best trader as possible. So first things first, we have the Real Forex Trader Bootcamp, which happens every month. Basically, this is for anyone who wants to start his trading career the right way. Anyone who's tried, got scammed and failed, want to do it again the right way, we welcome you. It's completely free as well. All you have to do is have money to trade, of course. Details are going to be in the link in the description. There's going to be a link to details to that. Please register while there's time, because 2 weeks into the session, you don't get people asking to be let into, well, I understand that you guys are going to be watching this video at different times, but please try it at the beginning of every month. We do that. Number 2 is how to raise capital. Capital is a very big issue for traders in this industry. So we've done it, and a couple of friends of mine have done it. So we'll jump on a monthly webinar teaching you guys how to raise capital, and also how to manage risk. At the end of the day, it's Mind the Risk podcast. So if you desire to be part of a journey that transforms traders into confident, competent, and informed decision makers, we welcome you. Check out the links in the description. I want you to remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen, that every trade begins with the ability to identify risk. Not just identify. First, you need to understand risk, identify it, calculate it, and then you're able to manage it so that it has less impact on your P&L at the end of the quarter or the end of the year. So let's navigate the markets together. Join Mind the Risk podcast, because opportunities like this, really, they don't come often. I mean, how many people do you know in the industry who are doing this for free? Come on, let's do this together, ladies and gentlemen. Also to say, for your life to change, you must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next level, but I'm going to give you a warning. This is a high performance zone. See you on the other side. Cheers.